In 2025, Catholic dioceses across the United States are witnessing a season unlike any in living memory, a springtime of faith bursting into bloom. From the echoing arches of great city cathedrals to the humble pews of countryside chapels, thousands are stepping forward at the Easter Vigil, clothed in conviction and lit by hope. These are not scattered sparks. They are the rising tide of a movement, men and women from every walk of life returning, seeking, discovering, and finding within the Church a wellspring to begin anew. While this renewal stirs hearts nationwide, certain dioceses shine like lighthouses in the mist, drawing record numbers of new believers into their embrace this Easter. Which dioceses have led this revival? Which corners of America now overflow with the fresh breath of spiritual life? Stay with us as we count down the Come With Me as we uncover the top 10 Catholic dioceses across the United States. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Number 1, the Catholic Diocese of Marquette. Hidden deep in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where pine forests meet the restless waves of Lake Superior, the Diocese of Marquette has long been a quiet outpost of Catholic life, until a breathtaking spiritual surge transformed it into the nation's leader in conversion growth. This year, over 100 souls stepped into the Church's embrace, a leap of faith that swelled the flock by nearly double in a single season. The change could be felt everywhere. In remote parishes, ancient bells tolled across frozen fields as villagers gathered beneath flickering candlelight. Easter vigils became scenes of vivid beauty, stained glass catching the glow of sanctuary lamps, processions winding through narrow aisles, and voices trembling with the gravity of a first prayer. Much of this awakening was sparked by a calendar brimming with gatherings that turned faith into a living, breathing presence. The Pilgrims of Hope initiative stitched together the diocese's historic churches into a network of sacred waypoints. Travelers, both devout and merely curious, collected stamps and well-worn passports as they braved snow-swept highways to kneel in cathedrals and chapels steeped in centuries of devotion. Inside fellowship halls, the air was warm with the scent of coffee and fresh bread as newcomers sat beside seasoned parishioners, trading life stories over shared meals. Volunteers worked quietly but tirelessly, arranging catechumenate sessions, preparing welcome tables, and ensuring that every new believer was not just received, but rooted in friendship. From fishing villages tucked in icy bays to logging towns along forest roads, the diocese seemed to move as one body. Candles lifted against the dark, pilgrims' boots crunching over snow, and prayers rising like incense into the cold night air. Something rare had taken hold here, a current of faith that rolled through the north like spring breaking through winter's grip. Number 2, the Diocese of Winona-Rochester. In southern Minnesota, where the Mississippi winds past farmland and historic river towns, the Diocese of Winona-Rochester has become a wellspring of renewal. This year, more than 250 men, women, and families entered the Catholic Church, one of the steepest surges in its modern history. Guiding this momentum is Bishop Robert Barron, whose voice reaches far beyond the pulpit. Known nationwide for his Word on Fire ministry, he speaks through podcasts, videos, and books that frame the Catholic faith within the questions and tensions of today's culture. His influence touches parish halls and kitchen tables as easily as it fills cathedrals. The year's energy intensified when his role on the White House Religious Liberty Commission drew national eyes toward this Midwestern diocese. Interest in the faith swelled. RCIA directors fielded constant inquiries, many sparked by a homily heard online or a public lecture attended in person. Parishes, from the busy streets of Rochester to the smallest rural sanctuaries, pulsed with activity. Fellowship halls overflowed during evening catechism classes. Choirs rehearsed late into the night. Altars were dressed for some of the most crowded Easter vigils in memory. University students prayed alongside retirees. Young parents cradled infants in candlelit processions, and small-town families rediscovered traditions that had lain dormant for decades. In every corner of the diocese, sponsors stepped forward to walk beside new believers. Altar servers polished brass candlesticks for the vigil, and music rose through vaulted ceilings, carrying the joy of a community rediscovering itself. The glow of candles against darkened walls told the story, a church alive with welcome, full of voices that had been waiting to be heard again. Number 3, the Diocese of Springfield, Illinois. In the heart of Illinois, the Diocese of Springfield has been swept into a season of revival, welcoming nearly 200 new members into the Catholic Church, the steepest rise in recent memory. At the center stands Bishop Thomas Paprocki, a shepherd whose steady leadership and approachable presence have drawn families from towns, farmlands, and small cities across the region. His vision, rooted in tradition yet alive with personal outreach, has given the diocese a renewed sense of direction. This renewal has taken visible shape in parishes both large and small. Church doors open to warm greetings and the aroma of coffee from bustling fellowship corners. Sanctuaries glow into the evening as rosaries, sung liturgies, and hours of adoration fill the week. Across the diocese, prayer groups have multiplied and catechism halls hum with RCIA sessions, lively children's classes, and small group discussions where faith and real life meet. The mission, built on hospitality, prayer, formation, and service, spills out into neighborhoods. Volunteers organize food drives, community suppers, and visits to the elderly. Youth groups pack care parcels. Parish kitchens bustle with shared meals that blur the lines between stranger and friend. This Easter, the cathedral became the beating heart of the celebration. Pews overflowed as processions of catechumens and candidates, each with a sponsor or mentor at their side, moved under the soaring notes of choir anthems. Candles flickered in every hand, casting faces in a warm glow as anticipation gave way to joy. Here, faith was not just professed, it was lived side by side in the very rhythm of daily parish life. Number 4, the Diocese of San Angelo, Texas. Across the wide skies and open plains of West Texas, the Diocese of San Angelo has become a thriving crossroads of faith, welcoming more than 600 new Catholics this Easter, the largest increase in its history. This remarkable growth is no accident. Years of careful planning and heartfelt ministry have turned the diocese into a place where seekers find a spiritual home. At the heart of this renewal are 2 vibrant hubs, the Pastoral Center and the Christ the King Retreat Center. Once modest facilities, they now pulse with activity year-round. Classrooms filled with catechesis for every age, seminar halls hosting newcomers eager to learn, and retreat spaces where prayer mingles with honest conversation. Here, faith is not an abstract idea, but something touched, heard, and shared. Parish teams, strengthened by trained volunteers, ensure that every individual, from lifelong residents to recent arrivals, receives guidance and welcome. Special liturgies at Sacred Heart Cathedral draw crowds that spill into the aisles, while pilgrimages to holy sites, including the revered shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Midland, spark devotion among both cradle Catholics and first-time visitors. The journey to Easter begins months earlier. Candidates and catechumens prepare side by side under the care of sponsors and mentors, joining tailored RCIA tracks for youth, young adults, and families. Along the way, shared meals and personal testimonies weave a network of friendships that carry them through to the Easter Vigil, a night when the cathedral glows with candlelight. The waters of baptism flow, and the anointing of confirmation seals hundreds into a growing, joyful community. Number 5, the Diocese of Cleveland, Ohio. Along the shores of Lake Erie and through the neighborhoods of Cuyahoga County, the Diocese of Cleveland has been swept into a remarkable season of renewal, welcoming over 800 new Catholics this Easter. A dramatic surge that reflects years of quiet but deliberate groundwork. The change begins at the parish level, in places like St. Mary's in Paynesville and St. Francis of Assisi in Gates Mills. The light comes not from grand events, but from the steady witness of catechetical teams, lay people and clergy who teach with clarity, listen with patience, and make room for honest questions. These communities have become beacons, drawing seekers who find here both truth and compassion. At the center of this movement is the Diocesan Office of Evangelization, guided by leaders such as Dr. Damian Ferentz, whose mission is simple yet profound. Meet people where they are, especially those adrift in the aftermath of disillusionment. Young adults, long labeled unreachable, are returning not because of flashy campaigns, but because someone took their hunger for meaning seriously. To reach them, the diocese has created spaces that blend openness with depth. Theology on tap gatherings spill into local venues where theology and real life meet over shared conversation. Parish retreats, once thought suited only for older parishioners, now pulse with young families and millennials seeking a pause from the noise of daily life to rediscover their spiritual center. From city streets to quiet suburbs, Cleveland's revival is unfolding in the hum of community halls, the warmth of shared meals, and the gentle but persistent call to come home. Number 6, the Diocese of San Francisco, California. In a city renowned for its progressive ideals, cultural experimentation, and restless reinvention, the Diocese of San Francisco has emerged as an unexpected focal point of faith. This year, more than 650 people entered the Catholic Church during Easter, a surge that signals a quiet but undeniable shift in one of America's most secular landscapes. Beneath the city's constant hum, a different current runs. For many, the turbulence of ideological extremes, moral uncertainty, and a creeping sense of dehumanization has stirred a hunger for something steady. Under Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone's guidance, the Church here has become not a relic of the past but a living anchor, a place where moral clarity and sacramental life offer refuge from a culture in flux. In an environment where truth is often treated as negotiable and permanence feels elusive, the Church's unwavering voice has begun to sound less like restriction and more like sanity. Young professionals, worn thin by shifting values, and families searching for depth amid endless distraction are finding in Catholic life a call to commitment that gives meaning in return. This countercultural presence stands out against the city's backdrop, a sanctuary not only for those disillusioned with secularism, but for those drawn toward the transcendent. Here, faith demands something of the soul, yet offers in exchange the order, purpose, and belonging that modern life so often withholds. Number 7, the Diocese of Grand Island, Nebraska. In the wide-open heartland of America, far from urban skylines and national headlines, the Diocese of Grand Island is quietly living through a season of renewal. This Easter, nearly 200 people entered the Catholic Church, a surge that, while smaller in raw numbers than major cities, carries immense weight in a region where every name and face is known. Here, faith has long been stitched into the fabric of daily life, in farming towns where church bells still mark the rhythm of the week, and in rural parishes where generations share the same pew. This revival is not a solitary spark, but part of a larger flame sweeping across Nebraska, a state now recognized as one of the nation's strongholds of Catholic vitality, with full seminaries and a steady stream of priestly ordinations. Grand Island's growth flows from the ground up. Pastors who know their parishioners by name, lay leaders who give hours to catechesis, and neighbors who extend personal invitations over kitchen tables or after Sunday Mass. Ministries are expanding, young families are returning, and reverence is making its quiet way back into the life of the community. Without relying on grand campaigns or media spectacle, the diocese thrives through something far more enduring, the steady witness of people living their faith in a way that is tangible, relational, and deeply rooted in the Great Plains soil. Number 8, the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, California. Amid the endless freeways, crowded neighborhoods, and kaleidoscope of cultures that define Southern California, the Archdiocese of Los Angeles has witnessed a record-breaking Easter. More than 5,500 people entered the Catholic Church, the largest wave of conversions here in over a decade, marking a surge that speaks to more than numbers. It points to a deep and growing spiritual hunger in one of America's most diverse and complex cities. Central to this movement is a revitalized RCIA program, reshaped to mirror the city's linguistic and cultural mosaic. Instruction now unfolds in Spanish, Tagalog, Korean, Vietnamese, and other languages, ensuring that seekers can approach the faith in the language of their hearts. The result is a welcome that feels personal, immediate, and genuine. This revival is especially visible in Latino Catholic communities, whose strong sacramental life and deep-rooted traditions are breathing new energy into parishes from East LA to the South Bay. In many cases, entire families are returning together. Parents, children, and even grandparents stepping forward to embrace the Church anew, weaving heritage and faith into the fabric of daily life. Guiding this renewal is Archbishop Jose Gomez, a leader whose calm strength and moral clarity have earned him respect far beyond Los Angeles. Known for championing evangelization, immigration, and social justice, he has become a steady voice in turbulent times, inspiring trust in those seeking both direction and courage. Beneath the statistics lies something quieter yet more powerful. A movement born from invitation, nurtured by community, and sustained by the timeless human need to belong. Number 9, the Diocese of Rockford, Illinois. In the spring of 2025, the Diocese of Rockford experienced a surge that few expected. More than 700 new Catholics welcomed at Easter, a leap that stands among its most significant in decades. Beneath the numbers is a story of quiet but determined renewal, unfolding in parishes large and small across northern Illinois. At the heart of this movement was Be Reconciled Day, a diocese-wide call to the sacrament of reconciliation. From morning until night, every parish opened its doors, no appointment required, no questions asked. The invitation was disarmingly simple. Come home. For many, it was the first time in years, even decades, they had stepped into a confessional. Some carried old wounds and private regrets. Others came burdened by fractured relationships or choices they could not forget. What they found was not interrogation, but mercy. The quiet absolution of a priest who waited patiently, hour after hour, to welcome each penitent. These moments did not unfold under bright lights or cameras. They happened in the hush of wooden confessionals, in whispered words, in tears that fell unnoticed but left the soul lighter. And this was only part of a larger current. Rockford has been deeply engaged in the national Eucharistic revival, rekindling devotion through adoration, clear catechesis on the real presence, and outreach to those who had drifted away. Even in rural parishes where mass attendance had thinned, something began to shift. One person returned, then another, until pews, once half empty, filled not only with regular worshipers, but with seekers, drawn back by a simple, personal invitation, and the hope that the church was ready to welcome them again. Number 10, the Diocese of Memphis, Tennessee. In 2025, the Diocese of Memphis marked one of its most striking moments in recent history, as more than 400 people entered full communion with the Catholic Church during the Easter Vigil, a leap that reflects both careful planning and a groundswell of faith. This transformation has been fueled by a deep, coordinated push to rekindle evangelization across every corner of the diocese. Parish missions fill halls with prayer and testimony. Lay formation programs equip ordinary believers to speak with conviction. Eucharistic processions wind through city streets, turning sidewalks into pathways of witness. And diocese-wide adoration vigils draw crowds late into the night, their silence charged with devotion. The renewal reaches far beyond Memphis's urban parishes. Small mission churches, bilingual communities, and neighborhoods often overlooked in traditional outreach have all felt the momentum. Leading this charge is Bishop David Talley, whose own journey from convert to bishop lends authenticity to his words and actions. He has taken the gospel beyond the pulpit, meeting people where they are, in diverse cultural settings, on street corners, and within African American communities whose growing interest in Catholicism has been nurtured through personal witness, social outreach, and the Church's theological depth. Under his leadership, RCIA programs have expanded, young adult ministries have multiplied, and Catholic identity has stepped boldly into public view through festivals, forums, and open-air liturgies. The surge is not driven by spectacle, but by parishioners who have become living witnesses, by steady catechesis that anchors faith in the sacraments, and by an unshakable focus on Christ in the Eucharist, the center from which all this new life flows. What are your thoughts on these remarkable waves of Catholic conversions sweeping across America? Did any of these dioceses take you by surprise? We'd love to hear your insights or personal experiences in the comments below. If this journey through the heart of American Catholic life has inspired you, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories of faith, renewal, and hope from across the nation. Thank you for watching.